A new kind of army. Like earlier rulers, some of these kings mentioned a well organized army with elephants, chariots, cavalry, and foot soldiers. Besides, there were military leaders who provided the king with troops whenever he needed them. They were not paid regular salaries, instead, some of them received grant of land. They collected revenue from the land and used this to maintain soldiers and horses and provided equipment for warfare. These men were known as samantas. Whenever the rulers was weak, samantas tried to become independent. Assemblies in the southern kingdom. The inscriptions of the Pallavas mention a number of vocal assemblies. These included the Sabha, which was an assembly of Brahmin landowners. This assembly was functioned through sub-committees which looked after irrigations, agricultural operations, making roads, local temples, etc. The Ur was a village assembly found in areas where the landowners were not Brahmins, and the Nagaram was an organization of merchants. It is likely that these assemblies were controlled by rich and powerful landowners and merchants. Many of these local assemblies continue to function for centuries. Ordinary people in the kingdoms. We can catch an occasional glimpse of the lives of ordinary people from plays and other accounts. Let us look at some of these. Kalidasa is known for his plays depicting life in the king's court. An interesting feature about these plays is that the king and most Brahmins are shown as speaking Sanskrit, while women and men other than the king and Brahmins are use Prakrit. His most famous play, Abhijana Sakuntalam, is the story uh, yes, is the story of the love between a king named Dushyanta and a young woman named Sakuntala. We find an interesting descriptions of the plight of a poor fisherman in this play. A fisherman find a ring. A fisherman found a precious ring which the king had given to Sakuntala, but which had been accidentally swallowed by a fish. When he went to the palace with it, the gentleman accused him of theft, and the chief police officer was rather rude. However, the king was happy when he saw the ring and sent a reward for the fisherman. Then the police officer and the gentleman decided to take a share of the reward and went along with the fisherman to have a drink. Do you think that if a poor man finds something and report this to the police, he would be treated like this today? Name a famous man who taught in Prakrit and a king who issued inscriptions in Prakrit. Hint: see chapter 6 or 7. The Chinese pilgrims Foshan noticed the plight of those who were treated as untouchables by the high and mighty. They were expected to live on the outskirts of the city. He writes, if such a man enters a town or a marketplace, he strikes a piece of wood in order to keep himself separate. People hearing this sound know what it means and avoid touching him or brushing against him. And Banabhatta provides us with a vivid picture of the king's army on the move. The king's army. The kings traveled with an enormous amount of equipment. Apart from weapons, there were things of daily use such as pots, pans, furniture, golden footstools, food, including animals such as goat, deer, rabbits, vegetables, spices, carried on carts or loaded on the back. Animals such as camels and elephants. These huge armies was accompanied by musicians beating drums and other playing horns and trumpets. Villagers had to provide hospitality along the way. They came with the gift of curds, gur and flowers and provided fodder for the animals. They also tried to meet the king and place their complaints and petitions before him. The army left a trail of destructions behind, Elephants often trampled down the huts of villagers, and the crane yawned to the caravanas of merchants ran away, scared by the tumult. As Banbhatta says, the whole world was swallowed up in dust. Make a list of all the things that were carried with the army. What did the villagers bring for the king? Elsewhere. Find Arabia on map 6, page 76 to 77. Although it is a desert, it was the hub of communication for centuries. In fact, Arab merchants and sailors played an important role in the sea trade between India and Europe. See page 92. Others who lived in Arabia were the Bedouins, pastoral tribes depending mainly on camels, hardy animals that could survive in the desert. Around 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad introduced a new religion, Islam, in Arabia. Like Christianity, Islam was a religion that laid stress on the equality or unity of all before Allah, the most supreme God. Here is a verse from the Quran, the sacred book of Islam, for Muslim men and women, for believing men and women, for devout men and women, for true men and women, for men and women who are patient and constant, for men and women who humble themselves, for men and women who give in charity, for men and women who fast, for men and women who guard their chastity, and for men and women who engage much in Allah's remembrance. For them has Allah prepared forgiveness and great reward. Within 100 years, Islam spread to North America, Spain, Iran, and India. Arab sailors who were already familiar with the coastal settlements of the subcontinent now brought the new religion with them. Arab soldiers conquered Sindh in present day Pakistan about 1300 years ago, trace the routes that would have been taken by these sailors and soldiers on map 6. Imagine Harshvardhana's army will visit your village next week. Your parents are preparing for the visit. Describe what they say and do. Let's recall, discuss, let's do some important dates. Beginning of the Gupta dynasty about 1700 years ago. The rules of Harshvardhana about 1400 years ago. Thank you.